deep reading, I have told you to look at the picture very carefully, and I told you that there are 5 children in the picture, and one of the first child, if you see the first child's one hand is amputated or it is cut off, and in the second picture I have told you, second boy's picture, that there is something wrong with that boy, so that he is taking support to stand, and third girl, she is blind, and fourth girl, she is also having something wrong with her leg, and the fifth girl is also she is also having something wrong with her eyes. So even then, after having defection, or let's say after they having some of the lackings in their body, they themselves they call themselves, we all are special, or we are all special. So the children, they are calling themselves special. So why they are calling themselves special? The first question we have, why do the children in the picture call themselves special? I told you to think about it and get the answer yourself. But if you have found the answer, very good to you. But if you haven't, you can get the answer from me. So the first question we have here, why do the children in the picture call themselves special? So the answer is, the children in the picture call themselves special because they are disabled. If you see the picture, you can see all the children are disabled. Okay, so because they are disabled is the answer. Next question, what is special about them? So if you look at the picture, you will find something lacking in them. So the answer we can write, the special about them is that they are handicapped. So the answer is that they are handicapped. Next one, what makes you different from them? So what makes you different from them? The normality, or you can say that you are normal and they are special children. Okay, so that is the differentiation. So you can frame the answer according to you. I have given the idea for the last question's answer, so you can frame the answer. Let's move on.
Unit 3, Inclusion. Reading A, The Girl Who Asked Why.
Reading A, The Girl Who Asked Why. Now let's begin the story. This story happened really long time back, but it is still relevant. The story is told, of so long time back, and the story is very relevant, means it is or it is related, we can say, to the modern time. It is the stories of so long back, but it is still, we can say, can be related. In the long time, girls were taught to cook, to take care of the family, and then married off. Studying was off limits to girls. So in long time back, or in olden time, we can say, the girls, they were taught to cook only, they were taught to take care of the family, and they were taught to do these many things, and then they were given in marriage. But and along with that, studies were off limits. They were not allowed to study. The girls were not allowed to study. Why? Because they were taught to cook and take care of the family. This was the main reason. And in those time, there lived a girl. So in those days, there lived a girl, and she was little different. The girl was different. Why she was different? Let's see. She always had lots of questions in her mind. She had a lots of questions in her mind. When she was little, her mother wanted her to learn cooking. So when the girl, she was small, or she was little girl only, her mother wanted to learn cooking. So the girl asked her mother, why should I learn cook? Or why should I learn to cook? So mother said to her, so that you can feed yourself when required. So when mother asked the girl to learn to cook, then the girl asked the question, why should I learn to cook? Mother C said, so that you can feed yourself when required. So this was the genuine answer. This was the good reason for her. So she learned cooking.
Let me tell you this. She asked the question, and until she did not get the convincing answer, genuine answer, she did not do any work. If anything was asked to do to her or by her, she always asked questions, so many questions, but until she did not get the genuine or convincing answer, she didn't do that. So here what happened, her mother wanted her to learn cooking. So the girl asked question, why should I learn to cook? Mother said that so that in time you may feed yourself when required. So this was the genuine answer. So the girl said, fair enough. Fair enough means very well. And she learned to cook. After some time, her mother wanted to teach her household work. So the girl's mother, she wanted to teach the girl household work. But the girls again asked question, why should I learn to cook? Why should I learn household work? So mother said, so that you can be self-dependent. So the girl, she said, fair enough. She got the convincing answer. When she got the convincing answer from her mother, she learned the household work. Then one day her parents told her that they will be marrying her off soon. So one day what happened, her parents told to the girl that they are going to give her in marriage. So she said, why should I get married? Why are you giving me in marriage? So the parents said, because all girls get married at this age. When parents said that because all the girls get married at this age, so the girl did not get the convincing answer, she did not get the reasonable answer, so she said, what she said, everyone does and so should I. That is not a good reason. I'm not going to marry. So she objected, she rejected, and she said that I am not going to get married because everyone does, so should I. Okay, everyone are doing, so should I? No, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because this is not the genuine reason. This is not the convincing answer. So she rejected, she objected to get married. And then, the girl's determination surprised her parents. The girl's decisions surprised her parents. What happened here? Keep in mind this one. Other parents could have forced the girl into marriage, but her parents didn't. You see here, in those days, the girls were not even asked. Nobody asked at that time the girl's opinion, whether you want to get married or not, or you want to do this or not. Nobody asked that. If the parents said something to the girl, that girl has to do that. But here what happens? When the parents asked the girl to get informed her that they are going to give the girl in marriage, okay, but here the girl did not get the convincing answer. She did not get the convincing answer, reasonable answer, so that she rejected and she objected that everyone does, so should I. Now she again asked question, and her determination surprised her parents. And here what happens? Her parents did not force her to get married. If they wanted, they could have, like other parents, but her parents did not force her to get married. Go on. Why? We can also see here why the parents did not force her to get married. Let's move on. So now the girl had enough time in her hands. As her father was a teacher, she joined her father's academy. Now here, the parents did not force her to get her in marriage, and now the girl had enough time in her hand. So what she did, she joined her father's academy. See, her father was a teacher, and she joined her father's academy. Academy means institution, we can say. Children are taught.
So the girl here joined the academy as her father was a teacher. Now here I want to tell you one thing. The parents did not force her to get married. It's because her parents were educated. Her father was a teacher, so her father even did not say anything. Her father did not force uh, her to get married. If he wanted, he could have, but he did not. Why? Because he was educated. Okay, let's move on. The girl, she joined the academy, and there she learned several hymns. Hymns means the a song, or a song of worship, that's called hymns. And she also learned their meanings there. She asked so many questions and she learned even more. She surpassed her father in knowledge, means she got more knowledge than her father, or to go beyond, she got more knowledge than her father. Now what happened, one day an invitation arrived, and it was from the king. The invitation was from for the brightest scholar in the academy. As it happened, the king wanted to compile all the knowledge in the universe into books. To get input, he had invited scholars and philosophers from all over the world. Now, what happens here? One day, the king's invitation arrived in the academy, and that invitation was for the brightest scholar in the academy. Whoever was the brightest scholar in that academy, that scholar, that student was invited by the king. Why the king has invited the brightest scholar of the in the academy? Let's see. As it happened, the king wanted to compile all the knowledge in the universe into books. Now why the king invited the brightest scholar in the academy? Because the king wanted to compile means to put together. Okay, so king wanted to put together all the knowledge in the universe into books. The king wanted to collect all the knowledge in the universe into the books, so that the king invited the brightest scholar in the academy. Now what happened? To get the inputs, now here to get the inputs means we can say to get recommendation, to get information, to get guidance, to get suggestion, or to get opinion. The king invited, or king had invited scholars and philosophers from all over the world. The king had invited the scholars and philosophers from over the world to get their suggestion, to get their information, to guide their to get their guidance, to get their opinion. The king had invited the scholars and philosophers. One more reason, let's see. The king wanted to compile the knowledge of the universe into books. Knowledge in the universe into books. Move on. There was a discussion in the academy about who to send for this conference. After a lot of thought, they all agreed that the girl was the brightest scholar in the academy. So the girl was sent to the conference. Now what happened? When the invitation arrived in the academy where the girl was studying, okay, so the academy thought about it. In the academy, there was discussion who to send for the conference. They discussed, all of them thought a lot about it. After thinking a lot about this, all agreed. All the student, all the teacher, everybody in that academy agreed that the girl was the brightest scholar in the academy. So the girl was sent to the conference. Okay, move on. When the girl reached the conference venue means place. So when the girl reached to the conference venue, she was taken aback by the grandeur. That means, when she reached there, when she went there, she was surprised to see the grand and beautiful palace there. And then she noticed, a large number of men, but hardly any woman among the delegates. There were a lot of numbers, but hardly any women among the delegates meaning minister or members. Okay, move on. She climbed the dais means stage. She went up onto the dais to take her seat. Now suddenly there was huge uproar, means the people started shouting. Okay, now people in the audience were staring at her. The whoever, whether the man or the woman, all of them were staring at her, continuously looking at her. Move on. A woman who thinks she can sit on the scholars panel. Now someone shouted from the panel. Someone said, not from the panel, but someone shouted and someone said that a girl who thinks can sit on the scholars panel. A girl means the person who said that, that person wanted to say that the girls are, or the women are not allowed to sit on the scholars panel. Now here is the word preposterous. Preposterous means stupid, crazy, or shocking. Someone shouted that a woman is not worthy, or a woman is not supposed to sit on the scholars panel. Panel meaning a group of people chosen to make decision. Now someone also shouted and said, look at her clothes, so provoking. I don't think she is female of good reputation, declared another. Someone from the audience, someone in the conference hall shouted and said that look at her cloth, it's so provoking. It's so provoking means annoying, it's not so good. And that person also said, and she pointed out on her character and said that I don't think she is a female of good reputation. Now there is a question on her character, and someone again shouted, said, stop her, it is sin against God. Someone is shouting, stop her to sit on the scholars panel. Why? Because it is sin against God. Everybody looked at the king for solution. Now all people in that audience were seeking or looking at the king for the solution. The king pondered for a moment. The king thought for some time. Okay, and then the king said to that girl, and what she said, girl, there is some misunderstanding. A woman can't sit on a scholars panel unless she is accompanied by a man. The king said, girl, you got some misunderstanding. What? A woman cannot sit on the scholars panel until she is not accompanied by, until she does not come with a man. Then the girl replied to the king. The girl said, pardon me, or I'm so sorry. Pardon means Mary. What pardon means here? I'm so sorry, your grace. She said, but I was invited to join the discussion. The girl said, your majesty, your grace, you invited me to join the discussion. The king said, I don't remember inviting you. Now the girl said, you sent the invitation for the brightest scholar in the academy, and I am the brightest scholar in my academy. Now the girl made a point here. The girl said, you sent the invitation for the brightest scholar in my academy, and I am the brightest scholar in my academy. And on that invitation, the girl is saying that on that invitation there was nothing mentioned about only male scholars being allowed, answered the girl. The girl said that you did not mention in that invitation that only male scholars are allowed. So the king gave a little chuckle meaning smile or laugh. Okay, so the king laughed here, or he smiled here. Who? The king. And the king said, you have made a good point, I have no objection. Okay, the king said, the girl, you have made a good point, so I don't have any objection.